Good night, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Carlene
plus Jaime.
All right. Seemed like you were a little late there.
Yeah, because you jumped in. I was messing with my nose, so I was trying to catch up, but it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're with us now.
I'm with you.
That's what matters. Welcome back, and we're so glad that you have joined us for another episode. We have thoroughly enjoyed our time in the past 2 weeks talking about the shift and how important it is that when you shift, you make sure that you shift together as a couple, ensuring that, the health of your marriage is sustained with healthy communication and all the things, and making sure that, that you're really trying to grow together. And so at this time, we would like to thank those of you who have allowed us to pass over the threshold of 830. We're really grateful for those that have recently subscribed. We're grateful for the OGs that have been here with us. And so we thank you so much. For those of you who this is the first time that you are looking at our podcast, our show, we are grateful that you're here. And we would love for you to go ahead and do us a favor and hit that subscribe button.
Smash the subscribe button.
Yes.
Hit it right now. Just do it. It's not going to cost you a thing. For sure. I promise you. You will not see money come out of your bank account if you hit subscribe. There's no fees associated with the subscription.
So once again, thank you so much for your support and your continued support. And so we're going to go ahead and kick this next episode off. And so the title of this episode is
Sacrificing Yourself Without Losing Each Other.
Yeah.
I think it's something like that.
Sacrificing without. I think it's sacrificing without.
Yeah, without losing yourself or each other. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. Right. So tonight, we really wanted to talk on this topic because, as we are in the third season or third series or third episode of the series Shift, we want to dive into what is it like when shifting careers, right? And in the sense of one spouse may look like they're advancing while the other one seems stagnant, right? And then how does that one that may feel like they're stagnant, that they're sacrificing, that it seems like they're sacrificing themselves for the other spouse to attain their goals or to go where they need to be. And so sometimes there's a lot of issues. I know that in our own relationship, we have dealt with this. We are dealing with this. And so we just wanted to help whatever couples out there navigate and deal with and get the tools maybe to help you through that season of, sacrificing yourself, or somebody's just really goal oriented and it seems like they keep getting ahead while you keep throwing yourself back so they can move forward. So, ready to dive into the topic?
I'm ready.
All right. So let me ask you this question, Carlene. Howlisar, she got my name, y'all. Have you ever looked at your spouse's life and thought, wow, they're thriving and I'm over here just trying to hold it all together?
Absolutely. I think going back to the first episode that we talked in this series, we talked about how I switched careers. I was a teacher, and then I switched to being a homemaker, where I stayed home with our two daughters who at the time were 2 under 2. And so, no, I'm lying. They were 2 under 3. Because Caitlin definitely was 2 years old at that time. And so for sure, I definitely felt that shift happen drastically. And I think that I essentially was willing, right? I was a willing participant. This is something that Jaime didn't necessarily ask of me to do. And then I'm just kind of like, okay. But, it was just something that we worked through together. And at the time, it sounded amazing. And for a little bit it was, until it wasn't, until it came to a point where, nothing changed for you. You continued being a pastor while this new space that I was within, being at home, not feeling like I was contributing to our home in a tangible way. And that, and let me be clear, financially, it's always been the both of us kind of contributing together. And I understood, or I learned over time, that my tangible contribution was making sure that the home, the kids, everybody was amazing. Everyone was great. And so, yes, to your question, we definitely experienced that when we moved to Texas.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. And I think, to mention with the move to Texas, that I'm assuming that you were okay with leaving your job, leaving what New York City, because you were following me or coming along with me, and the sacrifice made it seem, I guess, palatable or easier because you were doing this for God's sake. Like, this was the calling that God called me to do. So you had to let go all of those things, right?
Yes, it was for God, but it was also very much for the girls, right? It was also for their stability, knowing that this change it's a huge change, moving away from family and people that they knew. So it wasn't only a spiritual thing, but it was also knowing that, our girls, our children will benefit, I think, tremendously from this sacrifice that I was making.
Yeah. Yeah. And, me being male, I probably didn't know how to look at it through your lens. I just knew how to look at it through my lens. Like, this is my career. This is what I'm called to do. I'm supposed to pick up and move and to leave and go where God is telling me to go. And that as my spouse, you married me. So this is what you signed up for.
Correct.
Like, you coming on this roller coaster, you signed a waiver, it's going to be up and down.
Yes.
Right? It's not asking you to be on this roller coaster. It's not saying, do you want to ride this roller coaster with me? You said yes when you said I do.
Correct.
And whatever comes along with it, you got to go with it.
Correct. So, I definitely think that, I think this just speaks to the fact that when you are going through a situation where it feels as though you are sacrificing more than your spouse, and usually in that sacrifice doesn't feel like you're thriving. It usually feels as though like you're struggling, you're fighting, you're constantly saying, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing because I get to spend time with my girls and I get to be their first teacher and all the things," but at the same time, sacrificing my own ambition, sacrificing my own dreams and things of that nature, was definitely something that, I struggled with tremendously. And I think it's important to let our viewers know that when you're going through a situation where you feel like you're sacrificing a whole lot more than your spouse, I think it's important for you to name the season that you're in.
Yeah.
Like naming the fact that, naming that season honestly, and knowing that in marriage, you're going to have asymmetrical seasons.
Right.
Where things are not going to be as aligned as you would like them to be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's part of the messy middle, right? Like, no matter, we all grow and evolve in the different stages of our marriage. Year 1 is not like year 10. Year 10 is not going to be like year 20. Who you were in your 20s is not who you are in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. And when it comes to careers and balancing that, especially too when it's like relationships, it's sometimes going to be I'm going to say out of line, like you said, asymmetrical, but it should never be out of sync. Like, I think that you always, like you said, naming it, both of you should always be communicating and talking through it and really addressing how and what's happening at the moment.
Yeah, I think it comes out of, or it has a great potential to be out of sync. Right. Because if you are on one side stirring, because you're stirring in your misery of, oh my gosh, like, look at that. Like, nothing has changed for him. He looks like he is doing what he's always done, right? And, you're over here like, oh my gosh, like, this is something that I've always wanted to do, or I've dreamed of doing this thing and I'm doing so well at it. And you know what I mean? Like, you can literally be on the opposite sides, stirring and being out of sync. But the only way that you can be succinct in your marriage, in your conversation, in your communication is by actually talking,
right?
And being honest and open. And that's our first experience of this. I was not honest. I was not open. I was silently mourning the life that I had and wish that I too can continue to thrive in, my purpose as an educator, as a teacher, not just teaching my children, right? That was amazing. But it was also the part of, what about me? What about my dreams? What about my goals that I too want to accomplish, and feeling stuck and stagnant? And I think that's just like one of the things that in hindsight, we did not have.
Yeah.
I was silent versus you were also silent because you didn't know.
Right. I had no clue. Even though you were going through, as you mentioned before, like the anxiety and the various things, but I didn't know until after, when I think one time you were like, yeah, you out there going to work and you out there meeting people. Like, I would come home and I'd be so excited to say like, yo, I met Freddie Haynes, or I met this social justice, or I'm that, this, that. And then how was your day, right? And your day is just with the two girls, potty training them. And so it was not being sensitive to it, to what you were going through and to what you were feeling. But that's naming it, being honest about it. Also too, like, I think that, and we'll talk about, because the table's flipped a little bit, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but in naming it, it's also good to see this as not as competition, but that how are we both growing?
Yeah.
So while one is sowing, the other is reaping. And I know it may be difficult to kind of swallow that, but it's kind of like, what lens are you using? Right? Are you using the lens of resentment or the lens of rejoicing to say, like, we are one and your success is my success as well, right? And that I'm celebrating you. But I also think too that the need to be honest and open is critical, is essential, is necessary when it comes to, when it feels like one is moving forward while the other one is standing still.
Yeah. I wish I saw the imbalance more as preparation for me, more than failure. Because it definitely felt like I was failing at life. And there is just something in our society that says that if, at this age, you are supposed to be here. You should have accomplished this thing at this age. And so at that time, I believe we were in our early 30s. And so for me, I'm just like, man, early 30s, I'm supposed to be feeling like I'm thriving in terms of my, in terms of like my career. And so this thing just kind of felt like I wasn't thriving. I was more failing. And it's just so weird because at the same time, I have two beautiful daughters, and like I have a unique opportunity to really spend the time in like learning about them and like teaching them and things of that nature. But at the same time, it was almost like I don't know. It's almost like it's like these two things that you love so very much, but realizing that one has to be sacrificed in order, like I can't have both. It's either raising these girls at this time, or it's us putting them in daycare or putting them in the care of someone else and then not being able to be their first teacher. And so it's that imbalance and trying to find balance in the imbalance. So
and I
to bring that up.
I think you mentioned something that's unique to probably just us, but there was also, because we moved to Texas, we didn't have a support system. And so we didn't have anyone we could trust to watch the girls. Say, for example, if you wanted to go to work or you wanted to, we didn't build that kind of relationship with anyone as yet, because we were fresh, we were new. So, those are all things that we did not consider upon moving to Texas. But I think what we did navigate to was immediately, I was going to work and you would stay home.
Yeah.
And one thing about moving and one thing about leaving your support system is that sometimes there are so many questions that you need to unpack.
Yes.
That because you're walking into the unknown.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess we can move on to now like the hidden emotions or the hidden feelings that may come with the one that is doing the sacrificing.
Yeah.
And so for me, I remember in those moments feeling unseen, unfulfilled, feeling as though like I was not winning. More or less like I felt like I was losing. And there was a lot of envy, jealousy at times. There were a lot of emotions that I felt could have easily placed a wedge between us. And I think it did for a bit, if we're being honest. It did. It was a quiet and silent wedge that continued to fester in my mind, in my heart, because I just could not shake that feeling, that real raw emotion of knowing that I have so much potential, knowing that I have so much inside of me, and right now I'm just limited to this thing.
Yeah, we definitely lost each other in the mix of me out there grinding, because not only am I out the house or the apartment Monday through Friday, but then I'm also traveling on weekends. And even when I'm out Monday through Friday, sometimes, these rallies are late at night, and so I'm getting home late. So we didn't really have time to connect with each other. And I remember when we took that cruise with our friends, and that was like, how many years? I was like, first of all, we didn't vacation since we got married, our honeymoon.
Right.
Yeah, right?
No, we did. We did go away.
Before kids. Before kids. But then kids came, we did not. Yeah. And then we finally went on a trip where no kids. And then I remember saying, I see you. Like, I got to see you and I haven't seen you. So just saying that in the midst of those emotions, those feelings, I was unaware of it because, in my brain, I'm providing for my family. I'm providing for my wife. I'm keeping a roof over their head. I'm making sure that they have food to eat. And so I got to be out there grinding, hustling. And I started my doctoral degree. Oh. And I got to travel for a whole week and be away because I got to finish this doctoral degree. So all of these things that sometimes in my brain, I'm doing them, I'm thinking that you are appreciating it, celebrating it, or I'm not asking you I'm not really seeing you and asking you how you feel. But I just feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. And you should understand because this is my calling.
Yeah. But I want to correct you in what you just said, if you don't mind. You said that you want me to appreciate it. I did appreciate it. I did appreciate. Yeah. I did appreciate and cheered you on and showed up and encouraged you and all the things. I did that, not because I had to, but I truly believed in what it is that you were doing.
True.
It was hard for me. I think when you said you wanted to go back to school, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's great. That's great. Oh my gosh. But at the same time, I'm just like, I wanted to start school. I wanted to go to school as well. And I think we had a discussion after you graduated, and I was just like, I'm so glad that the Lord brought you through and you graduated. Congratulations. You did the doggone thing. For me, it was hard to know that I was happy for you, genuinely happy for you. At the same time, I'm just like, what about me? Like, when is it going to be my turn? How many more sacrifices do I need to make? And I remember speaking to one of my mentors, and she was just saying, like, Carlene, when are you going back to school? And I was just like, unfortunately, I can't go back to school right now because Jamie's in school. And at that point in time, I think I felt the heaviness of really feeling left behind, really feeling unseen and unfulfilled, fulfilled in the areas of being able to be with the girls 24/7. That was so much fulfillment there. But being fulfilled as a person who wanted to continue to grow in her field of study, in education, like, that was something that I remember us talking about. And I was just like, man. And then you finished that degree and you were just like, I'm going to go for the PhD. And I'm just like, okay, let's do it, but still very much feeling that heaviness of, I'm happy that you are advancing. And I could not, most days I could see it and feel it and be happy for you and be like, oh my gosh, cheering you on. But there were definitely, if I'm being real and honest, there were definitely some days where I was just like, man, I feel forgotten.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's understandable. And I think, like, so for me, I am impulsive. And when I'm ready to go do something, I just go. And so my brain tells me, like, yeah, I could be in school while Carlene's in school as well. She just needs to pick her program and then we'll figure it out and we'll do it. But your brain doesn't think the way I think.
No, because sorry.
And I'm not communicating with you because I think, like, I usually just go out and just do things and see what the response is. And I think that's maybe another episode that we probably need to deal with, of why I like to move by myself. Like, I just operate like I'm solo. But I had gotten a scholarship and I'm like, yo, I got a scholarship. I might as well do this. And then I came after the fact and told you. And then I also believed that I would not get in. Like, I was like, they're not going to accept me anyway. And then everything worked out.
This sounds like the shoes.
Yeah, it is the shoe thing.
like, I don't think the card is going to approve these expensive shoes.
No, the shoe thing was a little bit different. Go back and watch the shoe episode. It was not the same thing.
No, it's not. I'm joking. I'm joking.
It sounds like it. Sounds like as I'm talking about, I'm like, oh gosh, it sounds like the
so
shoe
far
thing.
off.
But like, I just applied and put in everything. I didn't really expect to get accepted, and it was a program that I wanted to do. And my brain was like, okay, I know Carlene wants to go to school, so she can go anytime she wants to. She just pick a program and just do it, and we'll figure it out. But it just proves the point of, because you're married to someone does not mean you think the same way. Mm-hmm. And do not assume that your spouse knows what's going on in your head and that every move you make, they're going to be okay with it deep down inside. They may outwardly, and genuinely, I think you were supportive. I think you were very supportive.
For sure.
But deep down inside, that could have been totally different if we had had a conversation prior to me moving forward.
Yes, the conversation could have been, I know that you want to go to school. I too want to go to school. What do you think that looks like for both of us to be in school? What does it look like for the girls? How are we going to manage our time? Are we going to manage finances. Like, what are we going to do? Like, there's an actual plan. But for me, when you came and told me that you enrolled in school, I was just like, okay, all right, go for it, because at that point in time, I think that I had lost hope in believing that I could be unstuck.
Yeah.
And so I think that is, was hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think also too, that particularly to we can only speak to our situation. And because we were, I don't know if we are still, a pastoral couple. I mean, I'm not pastoring a church anymore, but I do believe that I used God as a crutch to make an excuse for me to do what I want to do. And I think that a lot of people, or at least when I'm seeing this on TV and I see it with politicians, particularly in this administration, that we can use God as a no pun intended, trump card to justify what we want to do, when we want to do it, without even first seeking God. Because I honestly don't feel like I sought God before I decided to go and do the PhD. I saw it as an opportunity, and maybe God put that opportunity in front of me, but I didn't do the quote unquote manly thing, and that would have been to consult you, to sit down and talk to you as my partner, as my spouse, as a decision maker in this home as well, my equal, to say, hey, I'm really interested in doing this program. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah.
And I think that just speaks to sometimes the immaturity in new marriages and young marriages, and why we are doing this for the messy middle to prevent you from going down the same route.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think if we had someone like ourselves being able to just walk us through that, or they may not need to know exactly what it is that we're going through, but just kind of talking through like what happens when one partner feels like they're sacrificing more than the other. How do you reframe that sacrifice from failure to, you're investing in your marriage, and it's not, and how important it is to communicate that and not just sit around in silence as I did. I was very silent, and because of course I'm silent because it's the thing to do, right? It's the right thing to do. But it wasn't. It was the wrong thing to do. And I am grateful that although in spite of us not communicating or us not really doing what we're suggesting to do for others to do, that we still are able to talk about it in a healthy way. We're able to process it. We're able to share so that we can help, even if it's just that one couple who feels what it is that what we felt or what we've experienced. Because that thing is heavy and it's hard as I don't know what. And I think can drive you either to your knees or to something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's just really important.
Yeah, because the tables turned for us too.
It did. It did turn a little. Well, it turned in a.
It turned. Okay. It turned, and I'll speak to it that that is at a point in Texas where you opened up your own school. You said you wanted to stop working at.
I was just working at a school.
You were working at a school, and then you wanted to stop to open your own school, and then you shut down your school, and you were...
I like to say paused operations.
You paused operations for now. That's right, because the school is reopening. You paused operations, and you were like, I just want to stay home. And so I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, you should definitely do that. Stay home, and you should definitely figure out what you want to do. And in your staying home, you went on I would say a sabbatical. What do we call it that? Where it was a complete pause because you weren't, at least I felt like you weren't working on
anything regarding my anything. Yeah.
You were paused. Now I was,
well, sorry.
All right. Let me say what I saw.
Okay.
Right? It felt like you wanted to stop working because you wanted to work on reopening your school and doing what you had to do it, whatever. And then I was working in New York and working in Texas and pastoring. And so I was like, okay, absolutely, that's cool. We can make it manage. But I know that I had resentment towards you and the freedom for you to be able to stay home and for you to be able to kind of much have the day for whatever you wanted to do. And I had to travel to New York for a week, come back in time to preach, and then manage the other thing. And so parts of me was like, okay, I'm going to sacrifice for this because I know that you are going to work on the stuff. And then when you told me, I forgot what the term was or whatever, but you were like, you just need to completely just stop. And I was like, man, that is a complete luxury that I wish I could have so I could just stop. And then, resentment was growing because I was getting kind of envious because remember I had wanted to walk away from pastoral ministry as well. And I could have because
I encourage you
and
to.
you always encourage me
to.
But my brain is like, we got to keep the lights on and stuff. So, my point is that a lot of sacrifices that we make for each other, I think is truly made out of genuine love for each other. I know that you sacrificed New York, your career, because you genuinely love me. And I know that I pushed and was okay with you staying home, with you not working, because I genuinely love you and genuinely believe in you. So I don't just believe you, I believe in you as well. So, the asymmetrical, right? Just know it may be you one day and it may be your spouse the other day, but it's how you stay committed and connected to each other throughout it.
Yes. And one of the things that I want to highlight is it's important to talk about what your purpose is as a first of all, as an individual. Like, what is your individual purpose or what goals it is that you have? It's important for you to communicate that to your spouse. It's also important to communicate a shared goal, a shared purpose for your family. It's so important for that to be clear as, clear as day or crystal clear, because I believe that you would look at the sacrifice a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Like it will be reframed in your mind of it not being this heaviness that can lead to resentment, that can lead to jealousy and envy and all the negative things. But if you are wanting to do something and it aligns with that purpose that you have, a shared purpose that you have for your family, then I truly believe that it hits a little bit different because you understand that now you're aligned. Like, this sacrifice is aligned, and I'm going to make sure that I communicate with my spouse anything that I feel that needs to be communicated. And if I need to say it the same way 50 million times in order for me to, to feel safe, to feel
validated,
seen, and all the things, like I do believe that communicating what your feelings are, whether good or bad, about the sacrifice that you are making. I just wanted to also put in there, like, it's important to find joys in small wins, right? Even in the sacrifice, like I was able to see the wins of, our girls saying, mommy, you are the glue. Mommy, like knowing that they are loved, knowing that they have a mom and dad that truly would do just about anything for them. Giving them that assurance. Like for me, it's a small but big win.
Yeah.
Because again, once you know what that purpose is, okay, I've accomplished the purpose. And in hindsight, if we aligned our purpose, if we sat and talked about what that purpose was as a family, I could almost guarantee like we would be better. We would have been better. In hindsight now, if we sat and said, okay, the purpose in this moment is, yes, I know you're sacrificing your career. I know that you're sacrificing some other things. However, this aligns so much well with what the purpose for our family is, what it is that we want to see for our children, what we want to see for each other.
Yeah, because it goes from I'm not growing to I'm investing.
Yes.
Right? It goes from, okay, I see this as a win for both of us.
Yes.
I see this as this is going to help us reach our goals.
Yes.
Like you said before, this is not me, this is we. Right?
Yes.
And so I think that's when it's like you're shifting. You're putting on a different pair of lens. You're just seeing this through the glass instead of half empty. You're seeing the glass half full. And but we're not in any way saying that you should continue to suffer in silence or that you should continue to just say, okay, let me put on a different lens and just get through this, because that's what we were doing, but we were not communicating. Right. And I think that you have to communicate before you try to put on that different lens so that you both can put it on together.
Well, let's just say this. We were communicating.
Right.
But it wasn't effective communicating.
Oh, bars.
Right.
Horns.
We would say we were great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we were all right.
Yeah, we go to church.
Yeah, we're not arguing. We're not having like these back and forth arguments. We're not yelling. We're not doing any of those things.
Right.
We would say that we were okay. But in hindsight, we weren't okay. It's just that thing where that potential roommate phase where you're just kind of doing, right? You're kind of living life. You're going through the motions of life, but you're not really connecting.
Right.
And so this is just one of the things that we just want to highlight. Like it's so important to have effective communication where you really feel seen, where you really feel heard. And so I just want to read this. So how do we avoid resentment or heaviness of heart? Be honest before you're bitter. Talk early and gently. Let your spouse see you, not just what you do, but how you feel, right? Because Jamie saw what I was doing. He's like, oh my gosh, Carlene's doing an amazing job. This is wonderful. But if he had the chance or opportunity in hindsight to know how I was feeling, you'd be like, it would matter and it would go so much further.
Yeah. Keep God in the center. Pray together about purpose, not just provision.
I love that. Because oftentimes we will focus on, Lord, please provide for us. Is this sacrifice? I prayed the provision prayer. I'm going to raise my hands and say, I was praying more about provision than I was purpose.
Yeah.
But in this season of life where there are sacrifices that are being made, and there is a bit of imbalance, that I can now pray more for the purpose to be fulfilled and for that vision to become clearer and clearer for our family.
Absolutely. And last but not least, give yourself permission to grieve what's been delayed, but not denied.
Listen.
Don't stay there.
Don't stay there.
Yeah. It's easy to sink into your rabbit hole. It's easy to just check out.
Yeah.
But you got to stay checked in. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to say, dang, I wish I was doing this or I could have done this. But don't stay there. You got to talk about it. You got to express and pray that your spouse is receptive, as they should be, to what you are saying.
So this particular one, this one in particular, that all these that were listed, we pretty much have processed through all of those things. But this one that Jaime just read came from this week. This week, there seems to be a potential delay, and I had to take a moment to grieve that delay. And as Jaime said, it's so easy to stay hyper focused on that thing, and it's so hard to see beyond the delay. That thing is real, so much so that it brought me to tears, because I'm just like, disappointment, the feelings of like, man, when is it going to be my turn? When is that door going to open? When will I be able to feel like I'm thriving? And so those are all the thoughts that I thought. Of course, I'm thriving in different ways. I'm not just not thriving, but it's just in this particular thing.
Right.
And I had to take a moment, and I sat and I grieved it. I feel like I still have a little bit more grieving to do, but I grieved it by letting me say, like, yeah, this would have been an amazing opportunity. However, I understand the purpose. I had to continue to go back to the purpose. What is the purpose? Why are we here? Why am I here? What is it that we're trying to do as a family, right? And when I did that, I felt a lot lighter. I felt a lot more happier. And I felt like, okay, yeah, it sucks, but it's all right.
Right.
I'm not going to be here forever. And so I hope that has definitely encouraged you, whoever you are, in that grieving process of something that was delayed. But just remember, don't get stuck there. It's so hard, but do not get stuck there.
Yeah. And I want to ask this question to the audience. And this is just a reflection question that maybe if you've gone through the entire episode and you're still rocking with us, but ask yourself this question. What part of your heart have you been hiding because you're afraid of how it'll sound to your partner?
Of how it'll sound ungrateful.
Oh, yes. Okay, let me read it again. What part of your heart have you been hiding because you're afraid it'll sound ungrateful? And that's something for you to reflect on, right? As you're watching this, as you're thinking about this episode, as you're going through processing what we've been talking about, we just want to encourage, couples to talk and to process after we do all of these episodes together.
Because it's so important to talk through and walk through and just
exist.
So how can the other spouse support? So acknowledge and affirm their unseen sacrifices out loud. Be mindful not to make your success solo. Always frame wins as ours, as we just mentioned. Create emotional space for them to dream again. Oof, I love that one. Create a space for them to dream again.
Dream again. Dream again. You like my song?
Okay.
You don't like my song?
I do not. But that's just me.
Audience likes it.
Just as we are closing this episode, we just hope that for for those of you who feel left behind, and you're trying to figure out what you're trying to figure out, like, in this moment, like, how can I get back to that person who I was or who I am? Or you feel as though, like, the anxiousness of not sure how to come back from the heaviness that comes with the sacrifice, the envy, the jealousy, the resentment that might be building. I hope that tonight's episode was able to give you a few steps in terms of learning how to reframe your sacrifice, that is not in vain, that it's for a purpose. And the purpose, I hope, if there isn't a focus or a purpose, a sole focus or a sole purpose for your sacrifice, I encourage you to talk to your spouse about what that looks like. And it looks different. It looks different by couple. And so I hope that you do that as soon as possible, because I know it's not easy living in the darkness of a sacrifice where you don't feel seen or heard. And just know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
You are not alone. You're not the only one experiencing this. And if you need to reach out to us to help you process through or guide you through those feelings and those emotions, reach out. We're here for you. We're here to help you in the mess sometimes that happens in marriage. And so, yeah, we just want to be here to help you through the messy middle. That's who we are, and we thank you for rocking with us once again on whatever night that you are watching this episode, or day,
or in your car listening to it. As you know, we are on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, so you can listen to us while you drive. But we just appreciate you rocking with us. We thank you for subscribing, and we thank you for sharing it. Please like, comment, and reach out to us. We'll be glad to respond back to you. So, signing off, this is
Carlene.
And it's your boy, Jaime.
Peace.